Welcome to the Perfect Movie Podcast, the podcast where we answer the question, is this a perfect movie? I'm Michael.
Kalen.
And today is the first day of No Good Movie November. Well, not the first day that we're celebrating.
Yeah, we took a little vacay.
We needed a break. Life is short. Might as well not do shit like this. Okay, so today the movie is called Quigley. And honestly, this is the first time we've sat down, and I can confidently say we're going to create a better piece of art right here, right now, than the one that we just watched.
Maybe, I don't know. This might be hard to top.
Quigley it's called Quigley, an Angelic Tale. It's a movie starring Gary Busey where he dies in a car crash, and he's the CEO of a video game company, and he's a real fucking asshole, and nobody likes him because he's the worst. And vice versa, he doesn't like anyone.
This is actually just a documentary about Gary Busey.
It's just a bio. But he gets reincarnated as a cute little Pomeranian, and he has to fix his life. And sometimes he walks around wearing a dog collar, and I think somebody thinks that's sexy. Kaylin, what did you think about Quigley, an Angelic Tale?
I don't know. I really don't know. I was thinking about this on the drive over here. I was like, I don't know. This movie is insane. Like, just the concept and the execution, it boggles the mind.
There's a certain quality to this movie that I also experienced in my children's theater days and also in generally seeing community theater, where it's like somebody wrote this, but it feels like they've never met a human before.
Right.
Because this is not how humans talk.
Right.
In the first 3 minutes, Gary Busey shows up at his video game company, and he sees a dog is sitting on the premises and is pooped. And he chases it and slips in the poop, madcap comedy. And then he tells his assistant, I want every pet owner executed.
Yeah, and he was serious.
Like, what gives you the authority?
He's Gary Busey, man. He commands respect.
The one sentence summary of this movie is Bobby Kotick meets It's a Wonderful Life meets Benji.
I've never seen Benji.
Well, it's just about it's a little cute dog. Yeah. Bobby Kotick, Activision CEO, known for overseeing many awful things happening within that company. Basically, Gary Busey.
Okay. This movie sucks.
Let's just go through this plot a little bit, because it's a little fucking insane. So, in the first 3 minutes, Gary Busey orders everyone to die that owns a pet. And then he tells his assistant, we got a big meeting with the suits, and I gotta show him my new virtual reality CD-ROM. Because he's a video game maker. And then his assistant is like, cool. And then he's like, no, wait, actually, we gotta fire everyone and I gotta slash benefits and pay, and if they complain about it, we're gonna fire everyone. And his assistant's like, all right, cool. And then he's like, no. Wait. I gotta show off my fancy CD-ROM. You deliver everyone this message. And then Gary Busey flies off a highway, and we get to the rest of the movie.
He was just really drunk when he was driving, and he almost hit a dog. And then he magically, or not magically, I guess, but religiously goes to heaven.
Well, first off,
or he's at the gates of heaven or something.
And the gates of heaven look like a spare room in like a mega church that they just put some like linens down over a couch.
It's literally a sheet over a couch with a fog machine going. It looks so bad.
And this is the time for me to bring up. There's an interview with Curtis Armstrong, who plays Gary Busey's assistant in this movie, and he's getting asked about all of these various roles, and he brings up Quigley, and Curtis Armstrong's like, oh God, let me just read this to you because it is the funniest thing ever, and it has to do with heaven. It's just what you would imagine. That's the best way to put it. We were shooting this movie. It's a horrible movie, and he was supposed to come back from the dead. And he, of course, Gary Busey, had supposedly already done this. He'd been in an accident and died and came back. He showed up on a set made to look like heaven. He looked around and he said, I can't play this scene. They were 3 days behind at this point. But Busey said, it's nothing like this. I've been to heaven, and it doesn't look like this.
No.
The sofa's all wrong. The mirror's ridiculous. They don't even have mirrors.
The sofa's all wrong? Implying that there is a sofa in heaven or at the gates of heaven.
Sofas are in heaven. Mirrors are not. It was ridiculous. He was completely nuts about the design of heaven. But then on top of it, one of the guys playing an angel had also died and come back. And this guy got into an argument with Busey about the way heaven looked. The two of them wound up coming to blows. Then they had to send everybody home. So there you go. That's what we were working with.
That feels like a fever dream.
So Gary Busey shows up to heaven and is like, no, this is all wrong. And then the one of the other guys is like, I've been to heaven too. Bro, you don't know what you're talking about. And then they fist fought each other.
No, the sheet goes there.
That's the wrong couch. Do you think the big JC would get a futon?
Cocaine is a hell of a drug, man.
So this is like a zero budget Christian movie. Gary Busey goes to heaven. He gets sent back as a dog, and it's all very vague. And he gets sent back with an assistant, like guardian angel, that's constantly changing wardrobe for no reason.
Yeah.
Like one time he looks like a 1920s newsie. Another time
he was like wearing a referee outfit for whatever reason.
He's wearing a referee uniform, like he just walked off the set of another movie where he was like shooting the end of Hoosiers, and then he came over here.
I'm guessing there was a scene that got cut out involving a baseball game.
He's got like a zookeeper outfit on,
where Quigley hits a home run.
That it's like they're set planting the seeds for like their Air Bud spinoff.
Oh, Jesus.
Where like Quigley's really good at sports. Because he's a man's brain, but he's inside a Pomeranian's body.
Right.
So, like, think of what you're capable with that.
You could do so much.
In, like, an Air Bud scenario. I mean, Air Bud's just a golden retriever. He doesn't have a man's intelligence.
You could lick so many women.
What?
That's what Gary Busey did in this.
Although I did, yeah, speaking of... Whoa, okay, hold on. Not speaking of licking women, but I did think when the little girl picked him up, I was like, oh no, that's Gary Busey.
And the dog is just going to town on her face. And you're like, this is Gary Busey. And he's
no, little girl, put him down. He's on drugs.
He's like,
you seem like a nice girl.
And then, like, he runs up to the assistant lady as the dog, and she's all cuddling him and stuff, and Gary's just like, yeah.
I wanted to do that when I was a human, but it was a lawsuit waiting to happen. I don't know why I'm making Gary Busey sound like the aunts from The Simpsons, but...
We'll get to how Gary Busey is acting in this.
So anyways, he comes back from heaven, and I forget, he writes some wrong gets the CD-ROM that's the big virtual reality CD, and he does something with it. And then Gary Busey's brother also makes video games, but he doesn't have the wealth and the means, and he's just a nice family man.
He's a nice UPS driver.
Something. And he's just trying to do his best. He's like, man, it's just my... one day I'm going to make those games. They're going to bring kids together and families together, and it's going to be so great.
And the wife is just... like, she's just amping him. Like, these are the best video games ever.
And then they both smile and look at their kids playing with little Gary Busey as a puppy.
And then he, like, squeezes his wife's leg a lot, and she looks really uncomfortable, but she powers through it.
You know what? We might have seen a Me Too moment just then.
Might have.
Tough. This was filmed in L.A., by the way.
This was also this was made in 2003.
2003, but it looks like it was made in like 92.
Yeah, or even earlier than that. Holy shit.
It's I watched like a VHS. It's free on YouTube. I wouldn't suggest doing anything where money would be exchanged for this movie. Keep money out of it. It's free on YouTube. So that's where we watched it, and it was in terrible VHS quality. And I bet that's about the highest quality you can get it in.
Yeah.
It's horrible. But speaking of YouTube, I just want to read a couple of these comments because there's only 12 comments on this video and they are hilarious. Okay, this one has a bunch of like Asian characters next to their name, so I'm thinking English not as a first language. But we got heart emoji, heart emoji. Truly, either truthfully love the whole content of the movie story plus the moral lesson wrapped in with family care. Prayer emoji.
Oh, okay.
We got Ethan Shrupp with this is Gary Busey at his absolute peak. Buddy Holly's nothing compared to Holy Buddy. 777 out of 10. Praise be to the Buse.
Okay. It's the Gary Busey cult.
A couple guys just say nice movie. What a great movie, especially the end. And no, you can't go into heaven by doing good things. By grace you are saved through faith, and not of yourselves. It's God's gift, not works, lest any man should boast. Ephesians 2:8-9. Amen, amen. Great with a powerful movie message. Heart emoji, cross emoji, praying hands emoji, earth.
These are all grandmas.
It's like grandma bots even. Like,
Or
I don't
something.
even know. I remember clearly as a little boy looking at the advertisement in the trailer for the movie, just wishing that one day I would see the full movie. That's really great. Nice. Imagine your childhood dream is to watch Quigley.
His wish came true.
What a fucking sad. I mean, I guess this is he says that's really great. Nice. So he's having a good time.
He was loving this shit.
Third person view? Shit's sad.
But also he got his wish fulfilled. That man he's happier today because of this movie.
So if you want to subject yourself to this, it is available on YouTube. But somehow Gary Busey makes things right. He delivers. He has a puppy, steals his brother's video game and puts it in his assistant and brings it to the office and like gives it to the assistant. And the assistant's like, wow, this is the best video game I ever seen in my life. And his brother runs in. And he's like, that's my game. Just give it back. And he's like, no, wait. This is the best video game I ever seen.
Aren't they just like, it's like 8-bit skipping rocks or something?
I bet I just saw an advertisement that was like this video game where you get to play as Jesus Christ, like first person.
Okay.
And like forgive sins and give
Isn't it
sermons.
called I Am Jesus or something?
Something like that. I imagine
This is a real thing.
I imagine it was that game.
And you like have magical power. I've seen the gameplay video of it. It's like you have magical powers and you're just like building stuff and walking on water and all types of shit.
Just moonwalking on water. Like this shit's easy. Easy any day. And that's how the movie ends, and then Gary Busey returns to his human form because I guess he's done the right thing, and this is basically It's a Wonderful Life. Except shitty. And he goes and sees his brother-in-law, or no, his brother, and he's like, man, brother, I haven't been right to you, and I'm gonna be right to you now because I learned some stuff.
How does he really say it, Michael?
Well, he says it like that, and then mostly the part that stuck in my mind was when he hugs his sister-in-law / his brother's wife, and he just like really, he's got a firm grasp on those hips, and I was like,
me too.
Gary, WWJD.
Can we move on to the performance? Let's talk about the star of this flick.
It was the performance of a lifetime.
The one and only Gary Busey. He is just slurring and sloppy drunk this entire film. This man is, I don't know.
Allegedly. I think some of that is he had a bike accident.
I heard about that.
And a near death. I wonder if it's permanent brain damage. But it definitely feels like they have a script and then occasionally they're like, Gary, do something. Like, Gary, riff.
Because Gary's great at that improv, right?
Did you notice his giant latte machine that looks exactly like a penis? I sent it to you.
No, I didn't.
Here, look at
send
this.
me a lot
Look
of
at this
things,
photo. Maybe this should be our thumbnail. And
That's a latte? What the fuck is that? That looks like a castle.
That's what I'm saying. And this is his office, and there's like an Egyptian lady in the background.
Oh my god.
Like they clearly rented out a room that was not an office.
It was like a spot in the museum, the local museum.
It was like the storage closet of the museum or something.
What the fuck?
Anyways, yes. Performance test. Gary Busey.
Ugh. My God. There's some shots in this where he's... I don't know. If you didn't know who this was before, you'd be like, something's wrong with this guy. And my thing is like... Why this choice for casting? I almost feel like it was a court order until like I kept watching it and I was like, he's actually like kind of into this. Like he's in the whole thing. And like I don't know, man. It's so bizarre.
Yeah. I mean, there's a couple like the guy that plays his brother is like a working actor. That guy, Curtis Armstrong, is his assistant in Christopher Atkins.
Is Curtis Armstrong in The Princess Bride? Or is that somebody else?
No, you are confusing him with, I can't remember his name, but no, he's not. I don't think he's in The Princess Bride.
They have a similar voice, though. You know who I'm talking about, right?
Yes. But Curtis Armstrong is a working guy. He's an it guy. You might have seen him in Revenge of the Nerds. Christopher Atkins plays his brother. He's like he has all kinds of credits, but he's definitely a that guy. Like there's nothing on there that I'm like, I've definitely seen, but he's on all kinds of TV shows and movies. So they like acquired a few like working actors.
What is Gary Busey in? That's the question. He's in one of the Predator movies.
Is he really?
I'm pretty sure.
Predator.
Oh, he's in Lethal Weapon.
Oh, Under Siege, the Steven Seagal movie. Point Break.
I know he's in one of the Predator. I don't know if it's Predator 2 or is that the Lost in New York one? Or whatever.
Predator 2 is he's in Predator 2.
Okay, that's what I thought.
That's the one in New York with what's his name?
With Macaulay Culkin.
No, not Macaulay Culkin, the black guy.
The guy from Lethal Weapon. Yeah, I don't know his name. Donald Glover.
No.
Not Donald Glover. It's
Danny Glover. My name is Danny Glover. He's also in Sorry to Bother You, where he's like, "Hey, young blood, use a white voice."
That is him. Yeah, he's real old.
It's old ass Danny Glover. Also known from Angels in the Outfield, a great family movie, better than this movie.
The question is like, what was this movie? Who's this? The audience for this? Like, what kid is gonna watch this and be like, "This is the shit"? Like,
we got one big fan in the YouTube comments.
He's the only person in the world who was looking forward to this film.
I don't know. It really feels like it is a very Christian movie. It's sponsored by you remember the Dove Network?
Sounds familiar because I used to watch a lot of this stuff when I was little.
Yes, I think it's sponsored by the corporation behind the Dove Network.
Is that the channel behind Bible Man?
Yes, like Bible Man. They would show, that was a CBS show, but they would show reruns of it. Touched by an Angel. Did you ever watch that? You could watch Diagnosis Murder.
No.
Anyways.
I know what you're talking about, though. This is vaguely familiar.
Anyways, they're the people that bankrolled this. They do have a few working actors, but
is that George Lucas on the set of Quigley?
No, that's our director, William Byron Hillman, which previous to this, he made a kids movie about a toy horse that references Home Alone in the description. And then before that, it was 80s schlocky horror movies. He has a few of them.
It's like Trolls 2 or something, right?
No, not Trolls 2. That's a very famous, but it's I don't know. They're not name brand. It's definitely 80s straight to video trash or whatever.
Is that a sequel to Quigley right there?
It claims to be, so we're looking at IMDb. There claims to be a Quigley 2, but this is fake news. I think somebody just photoshopped this up.
Who is making these? In anticipation, is it the guy from YouTube? He's like, these are my dream films right here.
Yes, it's that one guy on YouTube. He's like, I'm waiting for the sequel to my favorite movie. Very nice.
Quigley 2, Christmas.
We're definitely in the suggestive movies in the Red Letter Media rabbit hole because we got Pocket Ninjas, Little Bigfoot.
Yeah, this should be said that
Nuki.
RLM, Red Letter Media, did cover Quigley. And that's what inspired us to do this episode. So
yes, they watch lots of terrible movies in their series. Best of the Worst, Nuki, creating Rem Lazar. All right,
going down a rabbit hole.
Oz Perkins is in this movie. He plays his guardian angel. He has the funniest line, which is we have another pratfall where Gary Busey falls into a bunch of mud for no reason, and he says, "Why are you so muddy and wet?" valid question. Although I feel like you're an all-knowing angel. Maybe you should know. But you're in a referee costume, so maybe you're busy reffing a fucking basketball game. I don't know what you did in your meantime. They're like, Oz Perkins, show up. Whatever odd job you're doing to support your fledgling acting career, just show up in those clothes.
I think the best scene with those two was the scene where Gary Busey started peeing in that guy's briefcase, but he was peeing as the dog. And I just could imagine the angel, because the angel sees him as a person. So I could just imagine him watching Gary Busey whip out his dick and just start peeing in this guy's briefcase.
He's like, this is why we can't let you back in heaven. Because of shit like this.
Oh.
Oz Perkins goes on to be a horror director. I watched his newest movie, Gretel and Hansel, a retelling of the Hansel and Gretel story. He has another pretty famous movie called The Black Coat's Daughter. Maybe not famous is the word, but
It's like a cult classic.
Has a cult following.
Apparently it's really good. I should definitely check it out sometime, but
Apparently, like, auteur horror directors are just a dime a dozen, and it can be the random guy from Quigley who's...
yeah, didn't see that coming for sure.
But the real star of our show is the 5 terrier puppies or 5 Pomeranians that work together to play Quigley.
They use 5. I did not know this.
I mean, I don't know if they use 5, but look at this photo. It looks like our friend who looks just like George Lucas is playing with 5 of them. And at the end, I think that's all the like stunt replacements. Because remember, at the end, he's like, "Well, as a gift, we have 5 different puppies that look just like Quigley," and they're all like, "Yeah." Which, like, I feel like one of the kids should be like, "Yeah," and then the other kid should be like, "That's weird. That's still not our Quigley. It doesn't matter that it looks the same." Anyways.
And it's a really cute dog.
And, oh, God damn it, do we spend a lot of time watching this dog do stuff.
Yeah, the dog is super happy and pushing chairs and doing little dog things. It was cute.
The dog goes on a stranger danger rescue because our little girl, not a highlight. Fuck these kids. They have this thing where they're obsessed with, which kind of reads as like a little kid thing because it seems like something I would do if I was a bored little kid, but they are obsessively checking the dog signs. I don't know why, because Quigley disappears, and then they put posters, like find the dog signs, and she's like, "Hold on, I'll be right back. I just want to check on all the signs." Like that's gonna do something. And then while she's gone, Quigley just comes home, and she's just... There's like a manhunt. It just keeps cutting to like... There's one police car that they rented that keeps driving around corners, and there's this... The OG soundtrack on this kind of slaps. When it breaks into like the R&B song while she's missing, it's kind of crazy.
Just got Boyz II Men playing for no reason.
Literally, it's kind of amazing. And... But it was funny to me because while she's missing, it cuts to B-roll of them clearly just zooming in on some random police helicopter over LA.
Yeah.
Like they didn't rent it. They're just guerrilla manning this shit.
Or it's like stock footage of a helicopter or something.
Yeah. I'm going to see if I can find the song because it slaps.
The official Quigley soundtrack.
I'm going to edit it in. But I think these are like original songs too because it's like specifically talking. It's like, you remember, it's like the Django theme where it's like, Django.
Oh, yeah.
He's a man that does, where it's like telling the story while it happens.
Right.
Let me see if I can find this. And I'll probably just cut it in.
They got Mary J. Blige for this.
And wait, there's one more.
They got this song playing while a shot of Gary Busey just salivating.
I would listen to that last song just on my own time. That shit had me levitating.
These might have been people from the church.
It was clearly... All our soundtrack is brought to you by Casio keyboards. Because this is definitely like one of those 2000 models. My sister used to have one of these, so I would constantly mess with it, where you have all the different like synthesizers.
I had one of these.
You have like 300 synthesizers. 200.
What are you, Gary Busey?
I need my pills. fucking like 200 synthesizers. Can you say the word for me?
Synthesizers.
But there's like the little like organ, all kinds of stuff. But it was clearly all like you can loop your drums in.
Yeah, and then you could just connect it straight to a soundboard and you're straight.
It's great. Very 90s. Very like, again, this movie was released in 2003, but it could have easily been made in like 89. The editing. Well, hold on. We're in, it's the performance test.
Yeah.
Are we going to shut it down?
Yes.
What's this?
It's an art project.
Okay, I like it. Picasso. Yeah, that way.
Are you forgetting our segments right now?
Well, A, I was forgetting our segments, but also I just laughed when I realized what segment it was because the next segment is It's an Art Bro.
This whole movie is just a work of art.
I mean, really. This is where I want to get into it. So the editing, it does the thing that you only see in like the most low budget shit available. I don't even know like modern microphones just make it impossible, but it'll do this thing where there's like the airy like white noise from the background of like an outdoor scene.
Yeah.
Smash cut to a completely silent interior.
Yeah.
And there's all these edits that are just like, and chop, and chop.
Yeah, it's really
and chop.
jarring after a while.
It's like definitely seems like somebody's first experience editing. I wrote down, this is a first draft movie. Nobody ever did a second draft of the script.
It seems that way, and it seems like there's a lot of improv going on too. Especially the scene that really dragged was the scene where, what's the guy, the short guy with the weird voice?
Casey Anthony.
Yeah, Casey Anthony. And
I made that up. That's the lady that killed her kid.
So
No.
Casey Anthony and the assistant woman,
Curtis Armstrong. It was a CA, so Casey Anthony came to mind.
I really thought that's what his name was.
You're about to run with it.
You should just let me keep going. But anyways, so Curtis Armstrong was with the assistant lady, and they found Quigley because Curtis Armstrong is like running around this facility trying to fucking murder Quigley. And he's got these two buffoon security guards with him, and these guys, their comedy is just not landing.
No, not at all. It's like they're so stupid.
They're just incompetent at their jobs, and you're like, why are they working here?
It's not even that they're incompetent. Like they don't understand like basic language and like human behavior.
Oh, and then they had the guy with the really bad Russian accent, the janitor.
He was a German.
Okay, it's something.
Yeah, they're randomly. That was definitely seemed like a choice where he was like, "Hey, hey, Mr. Director, that looks just like George Lucas. Hey, I have an idea to punch up my part. What if I talk like this the whole time?" And he was like, "Golden, hell yeah, do that." I want that stupid Pomeranian.
Whoa, racist, man.
You can't be racist against Germans because they were once upon a time Nazis.
Okay. All right. YouTube police gonna crack down on this video because you
I
said
the N-word. Wait, not that one, the other one. I'm talking about Nazi.
What's the other N-word, Coda? Inside joke. Okay.
That is an N-word. He said no.
Oh, okay. Anyways, what was I saying? Okay, Curtis Armstrong and the assistant lady are like
Our romantic subplot.
came out of left field. I don't know where that came from, but anyways, they find Quigley, and the assistant lady is like, "Oh, he's so cute. Look at him. He's just a little dog." And Curtis Armstrong is just like, "Get this wild animal out of here." And then he comes around to Quigley a little bit and starts petting him, and they have this little bonding moment with him and the assistant. And they like.
And he's like, "What if I pet you?"
It's like, "Would you like to go out to dinner with me tonight?" And she's like, "Yeah." And
You're my boss.
Is it gonna get me a raise? He's like, "No." But that scene went on forever.
Yeah.
And it was just, and there's boom mics all over the place, and it's just bad, man.
This was definitely shot quick and dirty as fast as they possibly could.
I feel like this probably could have been shot in a day.
Well,
TBH.
In that interview, he said they were 3 days behind schedule, so there had to be at least 4 days of filming.
That was their last day of filming. Is when Gary Busey gets in an argument about having the legitimacy of.
They're like, all right, we have to come back on Friday because Gary punched our angel.
And then when he came in, he was like, "This is it. This is what I dreamed, or this is what I envisioned."
I imagine they just like flipped the sheet that's on the couch, and he's like, "This is perfect. This is exactly like heaven when I visited."
He took a
It's
few
like
Vicodin and he came around.
It's like this empty nursery in this mega church. The editing here is fueled by desperation, incompetence, prayer, good intentions, and stepped on cocaine. Because it's got that energy of somebody that's doing dirty drugs.
It does.
Especially Gary Busey.
It like makes me wonder, like, when people look at the final product and they're like, "This is great. We're putting this out.
Oh,
this is done." Like, do they ever say this is great, or are they just pulling a George Lucas where it's like, we may have gone a little too far in certain places, kind of thing?
I bet the director and maybe like a couple of the like actors that are just getting their breaks were all like, yes. Gary Busey was like, "This is amazing. This is what I came here to make." Yeah, and then Curtis Armstrong was like, "Mail me the check."
Honestly.
Same for Christopher Atkins.
I mean, he Curtis Armstrong, going back to performance, he was the best performance in this movie. I mean, like,
his character you've seen in many like as far as like, I mean, this is supposed to be like a kids movie. As far as like if you're talking like Alvin and the Chipmunks or like something like that, like something of a similar idea, like that is the exact kind of performance you should be giving in that movie.
I mean, what script did he have to work off of regardless? But he did fine, I guess.
It just happens to be a technical mess, and Gary Busey is vamping around punching people because heaven doesn't look right. And
I'm like, they should have made Curtis Armstrong the lead. Why Gary Busey? That's why I'm like, is this a court order film for him? Like, did he do something and then have to go film this?
Allegedly, headcanon, this is some sort of restitution from Gary Busey. But I think it was like a passion thing for Gary Busey. I feel like Gary Busey is the one that's like, this is emotion, and Curtis Armstrong is like, this is a check. Christopher Atkins is like, this is a check. Oz Perkins is like, this is a check. Everybody else is like, this is a check.
But I'm like, what check? Like, what did they get paid for this?
I mean, when you're only getting a couple roles a year in minor, you're taking whoever's going to pay you.
They spent their whole budget on the cast. Basically.
Yeah, because it's like filmed at some like conservatory. Let me just say words right for fucking once. It's built in a California Wait, did I say built?
It was made in a California conservatory.
It was filmed like that. Their office is a California conservatory.
Yeah.
And there's like a house, and then it's a kid getting lost on the street.
Yeah, neighborhood streets, and like a courtyard or something of the conservatory.
There's the place where Gary Busey does the pratfall at the beginning, where he slips on a dog's poop and orders everyone to die.
And then the highway where he gets in the tragic bicycle accident.
Because he almost hits Quigley. Quigley's on the road.
I mean, car accident.
What is this? Is there some sort of symbolism? Because there's like a Quigley on the road.
So, are you saying like a real life symbolism for Gary Busey because he actually got in an accident?
No, I just mean in the film, what does it mean that there's a little dog that looks just like Quigley that he almost hits?
Innocence, maybe, or I don't know, the lack thereof of innocence from Gary Busey's character, I guess. I don't know. I don't see why we're looking into this real hard, but
I have one statement to make. This is a movie for real gamers. Because let me tell you, we get into the video games, and it's like grandpa's talking about video games. They're like, I gotta get you my virtual reality CD-ROM. Hey, don't you just plug in your controller? We can do 2 players.
And then like the game is like saying the names of the kids and shit. Like, good job, Madeline, or like,
way to play.
It was the God of War of that time, apparently.
And then once we've spent some time in a couple houses, we come back to the conservatory. Right? There's nothing else going on in this movie. Yes, because the brother comes in and he's like, well, this is the best game I ever played.
Yeah. I mean, those are literally, it's 3 locations in this whole film.
So it's interesting that this is a movie for real gamers, and it's definitely the true story of Bobby Kotick, the CEO of Activision, that oversaw lots of sexual harassment and overworking and basically the crumbling of Activision as a whole, and he still got his job.
Is this official?
This is a real deal. Bobby Kotick, do you know who that is?
Yeah, no, I mean, I know the story of Activision is.
No, I mean, it's not official. This was made 20 years before any of that should happen.
I'm saying that they knew.
They knew.
They knew somehow. They knew this was going to be the downfall of Activision.
I mean, this movie is connected to a higher power, allegedly, so maybe.
Yeah.
They were inspired.
He works in mysterious ways, my friend.
Somebody should just buy this movie and rename it the Bobby, like, true, like, what was the, wasn't it called the, oh, fuck, what's it? The Netflix, the guy that eats people, Jeffrey Dahmer? But wasn't it called, like, Monster, Jeffrey Dahmer? Buy this.
Yeah.
Monster, Bobby Kotick.
I'd be down to watch that. I mean, it's no Jeffrey Dahmer,
but... we have currently been doing It's an Art Bro. There's no art in this movie. This movie sucks.
I mean, maybe there's an art to bad films, but there's no art to this. This is just a bad film. It's
rarely even funny bad.
No, none of the comedy, well, none of the actual comedy lands, and then none of the comedy that it would seem funny in hindsight. Like, Gary Busey is fucked up in the head, and he's supposed to play this family-friendly character in this dog movie. It almost feels sad. Like, I feel sad watching it. Like,
there's a couple unintentional laughs I had along the way, but not enough to carry the whole hour and a half running time.
No.
Mostly it's just like, oh, this is pretty boring. So, let's move on to Let the Hate Flow Through You.
Good. Use your aggressive feelings, boy. Let the hate flow through you.
That's just been this whole
it's been the
review.
Whole thing, yeah.
So I don't think we have anything else to add.
Yeah, I mean, if you like bad movies, maybe put it on your list to watch just because of how bizarre it is. Like, I still can't even believe this is a real thing.
You know, I think we have to steal Jeremy Johns, the movie reviewer on YouTube, his rating system, because he has his high-end ones, and then like his 2-star rating is, it's a good time if you're drunk.
Yeah.
This is like, it's a good time if you're drunk. If you could gather some friends to like laugh along with you,
right,
and like just riff and make fun.
I think it's funnier when you know who Gary Busey is, too. I wasn't real familiar with anything he's ever been in. He's always been side characters. So,
and he kind of looks like Bruce Jenner, formerly, well, Caitlyn Jenner now, but formerly. Let's step in this again. Remember when we talked about Elliot Page?
Oh yeah.
But doesn't he?
A little bit.
Like, actually, like, back when it was Bruce Jenner, doesn't, like, Bruce Jenner...
They have a similar
Gary Busey,
facial structure.
In my mind, they're the same person. But I also thought Bruce Jenner was an actor, but Bruce Jenner is an Olympian. So I think I've always just thought Gary Busey was Bruce Jenner. They're just the same person.
He's a part of the Kardashians.
It's the hair, I think. And the weird
I think
fucking
also, too,
face.
because he, like... Bruce Jenner, even before he transitioned, he always wore like heavy makeup on his face, or like he just had a lot of work done on his face, and so everything looks like.
Oh yeah, Gary Busey's face has like the texture of a catcher's mitt.
Yeah, it's very leathery looking and weird.
It's not the best B-movie face. I'm forgetting his name, but there's that one dude's face. You know, he's got the like moon chin that's fucking huge.
What was he in? Oh, he's in like the. That movie about the dinosaurs. Have you ever seen that? Where this guy comes back from the future. It was actually shot in Minneapolis.
Whoa.
Fun fact. I forget what it's called, but it was a Mystery Science Theater.
Yeah, I mean, he's in a million things.
Yeah,
I'm blanking on his name right now. But
he's a weird face guy.
That's like adult-sized catcher's mitt. Gary Busey's face is like child-sized first baseman glove.
Yeah.
If we're relating people's faces to baseball mitts,
is it Little League or what do you think?
It's like a whatever the cut above Little League, like middle school age.
Okay, so like park board.
Like like that's like a park board first baseman's mitt.
You said park board. Is that the new villain in Star Trek? The Park Borg.
The Park Borg. It's just the Borg, but they have little park ranger hats. But in my head, the Borg sound like the Daleks from Doctor Who. They're like, destroy, destroy.
You said Doctor Hoot.
No, I said Doctor Who.
Okay.
Shut the
I'm just trying to call you out now because you've been effing up all episode, man. I think that's what Quigley does to you.
Quigley lost me like a lot of brain cells, honestly. The brain damage ain't from nothing else, okay? It's not the multiple head blows at my work, or the marijuana, or the drinking, or the lack of sleep. It was Quigley.
Okay. Michael, if you need to talk after this, I'm here for you, man.
Having a tough time.
Okay. We'll deal with this later. First, we got to answer the question, is this a perfect movie?
You lost a baby brother. Perfect in every way.
I had a baby brother. I had a little baby brother. And he was perfect. Perfect in every way.
I think I need to play the little like womp 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 womp.
I agree.
I mean, no, obviously not. It's not even good bad. Like I want. So this is No Good Movie November. We're planning to do at least 2 more episodes of bad movies. I'm hoping at least one of these we can induct as like a tongue-in-cheek, this is so good or so bad it's a good type of deal. Like that's the goal.
Yeah.
But in order to find so bad it's good, you have to watch a lot of just bad.
Yeah. And that can be very...
It's tedious.
Yeah. Yeah.
So fucking glad I found this on YouTube and didn't have to pay anyone money for this.
Yeah, if you paid money for this, I mean, I'm sure the guy from YouTube paid money for this movie. Well, he didn't because he was under the comments, but I'm saying he would probably pay money for this movie.
Yeah, that one guy, he would buy a ticket to see this in a big screen.
Yeah, maybe that's the way to do it. Maybe you get the full effect.
Okay, well, a good time if you're drunk, unless you see it on IMAX.
Or 3D. Quigley in 3D.
Oh, Gary Busey's right next to my face.
He's licking me.
Oh, God, get it away.
This movie is terrible.
I'm
not going to lie, I fell asleep.
Gary Busey's court order didn't keep him away from children, so couldn't have been that bad. You know, this isn't
What they did was they set him up to be in this movie. So the actual scene of him getting that car accident, that was a real thing that this is studio interference, by the way. So they put this dog in the middle of the road, knowing that Gary Busey would come down the road. And he gets in this wreck. He hits his dog and it gets in this wreck. And they're like, we're going to sue you. We're going to sue you. They take him to court and the court's like, the only way you can get out of this, you got to be in this movie.
Gary Busey's like walking out of prison, and he's a convertible.
It's got to be the performance of a lifetime.
And they like whistle at him, and they're like, "Look, it's your car, Gary Busey. Head that way." It was all set up. Free Gary.
Free Gary, man. What is he doing now?
Fuck if
I know. Is he dead?
I don't think he's dead, but I bet he's like running for Senate.
Oh no.
Let's just type this into Google.
I bet he's a Republican.
What does Gary Busey do now? Lots of people are looking at this. Okay. Gary Busey face. No. Oh no, we didn't know about this. Gary Busey faces sex charges after appearance at film convention. Oh no. Was charged on 2 counts of criminal sexual contact. This isn't funny.
This was in August?
Yes.
It's not funny.
Lock him up.
Not Free Gary. No Free Gary, please.
Put Gary back where you found him. Fucking
They just put him back in that dog kennel.
Don't pick up any Pomeranians. You see a Pomeranian, leave it on the ground. It's Gary Busey and he wants to touch your titties. Oh, God.
Okay. What movie? So he was just at a film convention.
That's
Was he in any films recently? That's the question.
Okay, we'll go to Gary Busey IMDb.
That came out of left field. But I also was like, I'm not surprised either.
He's got the vibe.
Oh, man.
He seems like he likes to do drugs but can't handle them, you know? And that's not a good. The last thing,
He was in Hitman 3.
Hitman 3, the video game, as Gary Busey. Oh yeah, Gary Busey was like I forget what they call it, but it's like a DLC event where it's like an elusive target. That's what it's called. So like it's like Gary Busey is on the map. Go murder Gary Busey.
That's great.
Yeah,
it was
that's
the Quigley DLC. The dog running around.
It's just a Pomeranian doing like little jumps. He's in a movie called Reggie, a millennial depression comedy.
That's what that man was off of. That Reggie. That's what got him acted out, man.
Bad Weed gets a shout out for another episode of the Perfect Movie Podcast. Gary Busey, Pet Judge TV series.
Oh man,
The Last Sharknado. It's about time as Gary Busey. Busey? He's not even credited right. Gary Busey.
Gary Busey.
Wait, what's a Busy Town?
Busy Town. Richard Scary.
Richard Scary's Busy Town.
Oh, okay. So Gary Busey also made it.
Gary Busey's busy hands get him in fucking trouble, don't they? Gary, put that away. Okay, this has been fun, but also sad.
Yeah, I'm like, we're making fun of this guy, but he's obviously got some issues.
Well, also he's a predator.
Yeah.
Look
so
at his face.
That's what I'm talking about. His face doesn't look real. He looks like a porcelain doll or something, right?
Yeah.
It looks like his face is going to fall off. Like,
That's a million years of surgery because like his face hasn't changed in the 20 years.
and he's got those veneers, and it just makes everything look so plastic.
Well,
What is this?
Gary Busey, Pet Judge. Look up this thumbnail.
Does he have a weird thing with animals or something? There's a lot of animal stuff with Gary Busey going on in these credits right here.
Hold on. Are you about to uncover like a Gary Busey animal?
Yeah. So this is my inner journalism right here.
What do you call it when it's an animal? It's not a me too. It's like a woof too.
It's a meow too.
He's in Sharknado 4. I hope that picked that up.
Hold on, I just want to go through this catalog real quick.
It's a me zoo.
Try again, motherfucker. Okay, wait. He's also in more video games. Hold on. He's in Hitman 2016. He's also in Killing Floor 2. That's a PlayStation game, I believe. Why are they hiring him for video games?
He's like a recurring character on Sharknado, apparently. Here he is in Sharknado 4, The Fourth Awakens.
He's in Bikini Model Academy. That's not even a movie. It's just a video.
Just a video. That sounds like a porn. I feel like...
I'm sure he loved this movie. This is probably his
he
best
showed up
performance.
fucking drooling to set. Look at this. Just got a lineup of ladies in bikinis. I feel disgusting just clicking through these thumbnails.
Confessions of a Womanizer.
Piranha 3 Double D. 2.5 Men as Gary Busey.
I bet that was a great episode of a great TV show, right?
Can you imagine putting Gary Busey and Charlie Sheen in the same room? The energy would be off the charts.
They start arguing about what heaven looks like. Or no, they're arguing about what hell looks like this time. They both been there. They're like, you know what? When I see you there, we'll figure this out.
Gary Busey just duffing out Charlie Sheen for saying heaven's got a blue couch.
I almost feel like Gary Busey would win this argument with Charlie Sheen. I feel like Gary Busey, I don't know. Charlie Sheen
would
is
be like,
insane. Charlie Sheen is insane as well.
He'd be like, I'm gonna go do a line.
I think Gary takes the cake for this.
That's a real fucking...
He was in Grand Theft Auto Vice City Stories.
You know,
Phil
Godzilla
Cassidy.
Godzilla versus King Kong. Gary Busey versus Charlie Sheen. But just punching each other over an aircraft carrier.
That would be awesome. I'd pay to see that.
50-foot Gary Busey punching 50-foot Charlie Sheen, but he's got like a little white ring around his nose.
Yeah, that would be a great movie, actually.
Grand Theft Auto Vice City Story.
Yeah.
That's the one that came on the fucking
The
DS.
Yeah, he's got a lot going on.
Welcome to Ibiza. I'm Cortez.
How much money do you think he's made in a lifetime?
I don't know.
Look at
These
his
are always
look at his net worth.
These are always wrong by a lot. But let's do it for fun.
He's on Forbes, on the Forbes list.
He'll be fine. He can touch women. He just can't say anything about Jews.
Yes. Don't get this video struck, man.
It says his net worth is $500,000.
I mean, that's a good amount.
Oh, he has a... Oh, we have more. Dude, August 2022 was a lot of Gary Busey news.
Yeah, they got the real reason why his net worth is worth less than $1 million.
All right, so I guess the moral of Quigley and Gary Busey's life is just don't do drugs.
Yeah.
And, you know.
I feel like he should have followed the advice that was given in Quigley. Stop being an asshole.
You know, I don't think Gary learned his lesson.
Should have. Maybe he needs to watch the movie again. You think we should visit him in prison and with the cassette tape of Quigley?
I think, like, his conditions for parole is that he has to sit down and watch Quigley. Like, it's like a timer on an iPad, and he just has to sit there and watch it for an hour and a half at a time.
That's a good sentence, I think.
You know, what is reformation? Going back to our Shawshank Redemption episode, what is reformation? It's just a word to keep a man in a suit from me leaving. Gary Busey, show me you're reformed by watching Quigley a bunch.
He learned his lesson. He's ready for the world again.
He's probably hasn't even gone to court or prison yet, because this was in August.
What if he's planning an escape like in Shawshank? What if he's got a poster of Quigley? And behind it, there's a hole in the wall.
He's like, I just like the Pomeranian, holding like a spoon behind his back.
Actually, I just wanted to crawl through shit.
He just lives there. He like crawls in the tunnel and just decides, this is where I live now.
Oh, Gary.
Gary Busey.
That's not a good name.
Yeah,
that's what they call him now.
That's what they call him in prison.
Did y'all get to that good Gary Busey?
That Gary Busey.
All right, we need to stop.
We gotta shut it down. We're gonna get canceled. We talked about Gary's Busey. Okay, so Quigley, not a perfect movie.
I almost want to put it on here just in spite.
This was I told you we'd create better art today. I told you. Quigley, not a perfect movie. Next week or next episode. Dragon Ball
Evolution. It is the West, meaning America's first attempt at making a live-action Dragon Ball movie. So that should be interesting because I've never seen it, but I've heard terrible, terrible things about it. And I'm a big Dragon Ball fan, so...
I wonder if at this convention, Gary Busey should have been worried about where he was dragging his balls.
Quigley to Gary Busey gets neutered.
Remember, kids, spay and neuter your Gary Buseys. We all know that sign off from the end of Wheel of Fortune. No, from the end of Price is Right. Okay, well, next week, look forward to Dragon Ball Evolution. I think we're signing off.
Yes, thank God.
Before the police beat down our door.
Seriously.
The thought police.
The YouTube police, they're going to be on our ass.
He said Jews at 5820.
Goodbye.
All right. Adios.